Hi, my name is Mashood Khan. I am in 6th year at Medical University Sofia and I am turning 24 next month. It's, I think, pretty much like any other student. I couldn't really get into universities in UK. Plus, I wanted to go abroad just because living alone is just because living alone is something I wanted to do. And also the tuition fees and the entry requirements are much more lenient here compared to UK. That's just one of the main reasons. I didn't know anything about Bulgaria. I didn't even know it existed. I actually heard about it from one of my friends that was already studying here. He was like 2 years above me, and I was just talking to him on Facebook, and he was asking me, what's your future plans? I was telling him I want to join uni in UK, but it's not looking likely. So then he told me about you guys, and that's where I heard about Bulgaria from. And yeah, 6 years ago, I don't think there were a lot of students from I don't think from UK compared to now. Now I see a lot of people from UK, a lot of people from my own city, from Birmingham, and it gives you a homely feeling as well. Medicine, because yes, my mom is a gynecologist, and I really look up to her. She's actually one of my motivations into why I wanted to go in medicine. She's like pretty successful at what she does, and from a young age, just growing up watching her with patients and how she goes about her business, it's kind of inspiring, and yeah, that's why I chose medicine. Also because my granddad was also a doctor, so it was like I was surrounded by doctors growing up, and I guess yeah, that's what I had to do then. My mother, she was working in a hospital, and she was like, before you actually go in medicine, you can come with me, have a look around. And I actually did, and it looked like some departments were a bit more intimidating than others. For example, like emergency medicine, everyone's running around, people are coming in, and it's a bit chaotic. So I got intimidated by that. But then there's the other sides of it that I really like. For example, GP or diagnostics and stuff like this really motivated me to do that, because that's something I want to do. The lifestyle that comes with it is I'm okay with it. Whereas other departments, for example, a surgeon, you have to be on call like 24/7, and that's the kind of stuff that I don't. The lifestyle is not for me, basically. So that's why I chose I wanted to specialize in diagnostics. But yeah, going to hospitals before with my mom was helpful in making sure what I was getting into before I actually got into it. At the start, the main thing that took a lot of time to get used to was definitely the culture, and the culture shock immediately, because not a lot of people spoke English, and we had to learn certain things about living in Sofia. Like, for example, when you say no, it's like this, you nod your head, and yes is like this. So those little things, it takes time, but we got used to it in a couple of months. And one thing I really like about Sofia is the weather in summer. It's probably the best I've seen in a lot of countries. Perfect temperature, and it's surrounded by mountains, so natural beauty is amazing as well, because I like to go on hikings with my friend, and so it's amazing. Probably more the people that I've met here, the friends that I've made here. I'm probably gonna miss them a lot, and some professors as well, because they've taught us a lot more than I feel we would learn in UK. Because in UK you have to, professor a bit more reluctant. They don't let you be hands-on. So I feel like teaching here has been very good. I'll probably miss that, and friends as well that I've made here. So yeah, definitely. The pros would probably be living alone teaches you how to be responsible, punctual, teaches you how to be self-sufficient, budgeting, all of these skills that you probably will need in life later on. And I'd say cons living alone is probably just missing home-cooked food, just your mom's food. I miss my mom's food so much, and yeah, but then again, you get used to it, you learn how to cook, and it's just, yeah, you get used to it. Going back home is really not difficult. You can book a flight. They're not even that expensive. Because I'm from Birmingham, I've even flown on a £9 flight back home, so it's pretty cheap. And it's a regular, so you can go home like pretty much every weekend if you wanted to. But yeah, I've been going home a lot recently because when you finish an exam, you get a little bit time off, so you can go back as well, see your family. But it's been pretty good. At the start it was difficult staying away from parents, but now I've gotten used to it. At the start I would go back like twice or 3 times a month. Now it's like once every 3 months, so it's just changed over the years. But yeah, it's been okay. It hasn't been too difficult going back. And first, what I would do differently if I was to start it now was I would pay more attention in Bulgarian language, because I didn't pay too much attention. I kind of regret it because a lot of patients speak Bulgarian and I kind of struggle with it, so I feel like that's holding me back a little bit. Apart from that, I would like to join more societies, because when I first came, there was societies, a lot of them, but now they've increased. But back then I was just too, I don't know, I felt like it'll affect my studies if I join too many societies. But that's something that I realized it won't hold me back too much. It's important to have fun as well as you study. So for sure I would join more societies and go out more with my friends in first year. What worked personally for me was when I first came up, I got a lot of books with me. I feel like there's no need, because you just need a couple and the rest you can find online, the resources. A lot of students have uploaded a lot of helpful resources that you can use instead of just reading a text. Also, what worked for me was watching a lot of videos. That helped as well, instead of just reading plain text. And what I would also suggest before coming to Bulgaria, make sure you know at least the basics of Bulgarian, and also have a look at Google Maps around for Sofia as a city. You know where the places are, like restaurants, and like where to eat, where to go to have fun with your friends. So for surviving in Bulgaria in general, I would say because you come here alone, if you can make good friends, that would help you a lot. I'd say it's make good friends, but not a lot of them, because when you have a lot of friends, it's just not easy to keep up with everyone. I'd say it's more a quality over quantity kind of a thing. So if you have good friends that can help you, for example, move apartments if you have to move apartments, or show you good food places, or good places where you guys can go and relax and have fun. So friends were definitely, I'd say, make good friends. That would really make your stay here really enjoyable. But apart from that, also when it comes to academic stuff, make sure that you get some resources beforehand. So for example, before moving to Bulgaria, I actually did buy some books and resources online to help me with the starting off my revision or study in Bulgaria. So that actually helped as well. First, I would like to say that when I first started studying for medicine in the first year, because the content is so much, it's so much different to studying for A-levels, so much different. It took me time to find out my way of studying. First, I used to just read, and I used to think that I will remember it, but it didn't work out like that. And I think everyone's different when it comes to finding their way of studying and revising. I'm really big at watching videos and about topics. I don't really like reading text too much. I feel like it just goes in and then it just disappears. It doesn't stick in my brain. So I read a topic, then I really watch videos on it, and that helps me remember it. And some of the good YouTube channels that really help me a lot probably would be there's a channel called Osmosis, and there's another one called JJ Medicine, that is very good. And there's also one called Medicosis Perfectionalis, I think. Yeah, that's really, really good. And yeah, watching videos really helped me develop a understanding, clear concepts about things in medicine. So that helped me more than actually reading some of the books, I would say. For me, it was a lot of trial and error, and I think by around third year, I was very settled in my like way of studying, and I found what works for me. It was a lot of like trial and error. You try stuff that doesn't work, and then you try new stuff, and eventually you find stuff that works for you. But I would say start revising early. I always left my revision till last minute, and that was not nice. To be honest, I still struggle with starting early, and I still tell myself, oh, I have so much time, I can start later. But it always just creeps up on you. I feel like now that I'm in sixth year, I have so much to lose that if I fail a subject, it's potentially I could have to, repeat a year, because for state exams, you have to make sure all your previous exams are passed. So I have so much to lose, and that kind of, motivates me to start early, start studying more, and try to give it my all, because it's literally the last push before you graduate, and I cannot afford to take risks. So that's like my motivation. But in earlier years, I would say it's just you envision yourself being a doctor someday, and you want to be a good doctor. For that, you need to know your stuff, know medicine inside out, and that was my motivation in earlier years, just envisioning myself becoming a doctor and being good at it, basically. For exam preparation, I would say, like I said before, first start early. Second, go to the lectures as well, because lectures are not like compulsory. You don't have to go to them, but I feel like going to lectures also helps a lot. On top of that, in your clinical years, go to like practices, like for example, if you have a cycle of a subject, make sure you go to the hospitals and actually look at the doctors, how they're carrying out the procedures with the patients. That helps as well. And the exam format is generally the same. You pick out your questions, and then you write the answers on a piece of paper. You get time for it, and then once you feel like you've written enough and you're prepared, then you go to an oral exam with the professor. And oral exam matters more than written. So you could pass written, but if you don't pass oral, you won't pass the exam. So you have to make sure you do good in oral exams. And then they give you a grade which is from a 3 till a 6, and below a 3 is a 2, which is not pass. And obviously 4, 5, and 6, the more you get, the better. And this is a very simple format for exams. Oh, also some exams have practical aspects, so like you actually have to for example, look at slides, identify what they are, as well as checking patients, practical, like the doctor could ask you to do chest examination of a patient, so you have to auscultate and all of that. So those do come later in the years, like 4th, 5th, and 6th year. For sure, at the start, I was very intimidated by oral exams because I felt like professors, what if they ask me something and I don't know? And the whole fear factor just, it kind of made me, I guess, scared of the oral exam. But as the time went on, I realized if you've done your study, you've done enough of it, you trust your ability, and make sure just cover the syllabus at least 2-3 times, and you will be fine. There isn't something they can ask you that you don't know, because they've taught you it. If you've done your study, you'll be fine. For checking patients and doing practical experience, you can ask your professors for your cycle that teach you. They usually are very helpful. They're really, really helpful. They will tell you, okay, if you want to do a procedure and learn about it, you can ask them, and they take you to a patient, and they'll be like, okay, I'll watch you do it. If you're wrong somewhere, I'll correct you. So that's amazing. They're really helpful in that. But also, speaking of internships, yes, I did internships in 2 countries, because I'm originally from Pakistan. So I was there maybe a couple of summers ago, and I was there, and I did an internship there in emergency medicine. And I also did an internship in UK, in Birmingham. That was also in emergency medicine. And they really help you, because at the end, when you graduate, and it's nice to have it on your CV, because they ask you if you've done anything to familiarize yourself with our system, and it's nice to just show them, yes, I've done this before, and it really helps you find a job at the end. But yeah, it's not hard in Sofia to find practical experience. You just have to go ask professors or email the departments, respective departments, and they will get back to you if they have a place for you. So hardest years probably was for me third year and fifth year, especially I would say fifth year was a bit more difficult because there's so much content that you have to cover for exams. And the most difficult exams that I faced probably would be epidemiology in fifth year, and I think it was biochemistry as well in second year. It's just because I don't like chemistry. Certain people find it really easy because they like it. I just don't like it, so I didn't find it easy. Pharmacology as well. That was you have to remember a lot of drugs, a lot of stuff about them, so much, and it just can get a bit difficult. So I would say pharmacology, epidemiology, and biochemistry. Those were my top 3 hardest exams that I've done. I think asking like people above me in years, that was really helpful, but I didn't do a lot of it. So I feel like if I asked like people who've done the exam before me, especially people in years above me, that would have been nice. But I guess I was, I don't know, too shy back then to ask. So that would have been really helpful, I guess. As human, we all have those days where we're not feeling the best and we're like, okay, am I really meant for this? Can I really do it? You start to doubt your abilities, whether you're made for this or not. And but what's more important is you have to look at it. Look at the bigger picture. You have to think that, okay, I came here, I've made it like through the second year, made it through the third year. I can do this. You have to trust your abilities. And biggest thing for me was motivational factors. For example, my parents, both of them I look up to. Both of them are really good at what they do. So that kind of kept me going. But yes, I definitely have thought about giving up. But then you think about your parents didn't raise you up to be a quitter. They raised you up to be, to go out there and chase your dreams. And that's as cliche as it sounds, but that's what kept me going. But yes, definitely have thought about giving up, but have not given up, and I won't. Definitely, I would say it's more when you have to deal with an exam that's really hard and you can't really seem to find your way around it. You start to doubt yourself whether if you can even pass this exam. But then again, you just have to put your head down, and there's no shortcut for success. You have to work hard. That's what you've been sent here to do, and. But yes, I feel like even in COVID times when everything was online, even then, a lot of people I know were thinking about actually quitting. But yeah, I'm glad they didn't, and they're still around. And then you would definitely regret quitting if you did. It's something that you look back at in, I don't know, 5 years from now, you'd be like, why did I quit? So I'd rather not regret that, that I make a bad decision just because of some hard times. And there's a saying from where I'm from in Pakistan, "Ye waqt bhi guzar jayega," which means this too shall pass. So just keep going. This too shall pass, and that's what kept me going. And now here we are, about to enter the state exams. When it comes to dropouts, I don't think I know a lot of people that dropped out. I only know one person in my whole 6th year that has dropped out. So if I had to put like a number on it, a percentage, I would say it's less than 5% of people would drop out. And then again, it'd be different reasons for everyone. Some people just change their mind, they realize it's not for them. Some people just can't cope with living alone. It could be a lot of different personal reasons as well. But I don't know a lot of people that dropped out. I only know one person that dropped out in the whole 6th year. Greatest aspect would be of studying medicine would definitely be that at the end, when everything's done, you graduate, you get to actually live your dream, which is to be a doctor and treat patients and get to just live your dream. For me, that was also my motivational factor as well. But that's definitely the greatest aspect. You get to live your dream, something you wanted to be from like when you were a kid. and you actually be that, so that's amazing. The hardest aspect I would say is actually doing that to achieve your dream, which is obviously studying medicine. It is one of the hardest degrees in the world. I read that somewhere, so and that's true. It is, but I'm sure if you have amazing, like, good work ethic, and you're really hardworking and you enjoy what you do. There have been moments where I've been like, okay, this is very interesting. This is something I want to, do. I wouldn't mind doing for the rest of my life. And for me, that was personally, when I was studying cardiology, in the cardiology cycle, a lot of the doctors, especially the way they teach you, the way they want you to ask questions, they want you to be involved, they want you to learn, that passion of them actually, teaching you what they know and sharing their knowledge of so many years they've been doing this, and they're probably the best in the country, I'd say, some of them. So learning from them and how good they are, it kind of wants you to be as good as them, so it inspires you to be at their level one day in future. So I'd say definitely the professors have inspired me a lot, and especially in the things that I'm interested in, for example, cardiology. Something that I find really tough working with patients is, for example, I was in a pediatrics department. Working with kids it's not the most easiest thing, and it's not the most fun, because first they don't speak English. They barely even speak Bulgarian, some of them, because they're just too young. So getting them to follow instructions or doing physical examinations on them, it's not easy because they're always moving about. So I'd say pediatrics is especially was very difficult for me. But apart from that, a lot of the patients are generally very nice. They just follow whatever you tell them to do, and they're very cooperating, and they understand that you're there to help them. So yeah, most of them are very understanding, but like I said, pediatrics is just something, I don't want to, that was one of the reasons why I don't want to specialize in it. It's just dealing with kids is just, I guess, is not my thing. I would say most of the time, like 90% of the time, it's very organized. Patients actually do come up, show up on time, they're cooperative. But there'd be like the odd incident where you would have a patient that's, lying about like their history just to cover up something. But as a professional, you need to know all of the history of what they, any past diseases or incidents. So you need to know that to make accurate diagnosis. But some patients try to hide stuff, but then you have to remind them it's confidential, it remains between you and the doctor. So just make them feel at ease, and then they, tell you more about themselves. So that's important. But I don't think I've had any bad experiences with patients. Most of the time it's just been smooth. Obviously we're supervised by a senior doctor, and it's been smooth personally for me. I've got one sad story. It was when I was doing internship in Pakistan. I was doing it in pediatrics ward, and there's I'd say like a boy who was about 14 to 15 years old. He was in there for, he had an accident, car crash. So he was there, and I was managing the ward at the time. And I went to check how he was doing. He seemed fine, but when I checked his oxygen saturation in the blood, it was 6%, and normal amount is 90% or above. So I was immediately shocked, and I was like, okay, this is not right. So I called the senior doctor. He came, and he tried to basically resuscitate the patient, because he was just declining, and eventually what happened was, sadly, he passed away, and that was one of the hardest things for me. That was my first death in medicine, or witnessing someone dying was not easy. And on top of that, I had to tell his family about the passing. That was also very difficult. I remember after everything was done, I was so overwhelmed. I went outside and I called my mom. I was like, "Mom, I can't do this. This is not, I don't think, I feel like, how am I gonna, give such a devastating news to the parents?" Then my mom told me, "You'll get used to it. Just, act professional, and, have good friends around you that can, lift up your mood when you're feeling down like this." But this is, I guess, part of our profession. You have to just be professional about it. And also the happiest moment I'd probably say was actually the opposite of it. One time a patient came and they have lost so much blood in an accident, and they were going in a hypovolumic shock, and it was all the doctors were just saying that there's no way that he can make it. And I, to this day, I don't understand how, but he did. We just had to give him a lot of blood transfusions and just supportive therapy. And it was because I was part of the team that was treating the patient. So when I actually saw the patient well and actually walking on their feet, it was just amazing. It felt like I've done finally something, you know, to contribute to someone's life, and that's amazing. I might have been a little emotional that day, I remember. Just remember, you came here not knowing anything about medicine, and university is a place where you learn, and if you keep learning, if you keep, you know, working hard, I know it's cliche, but you will get through it. It seems very difficult. It seems like you can, sometimes you feel like you can't do it, it's not for you, but just push through. That time will pass. You will get through the exams, maybe not the first time, maybe not second time, but eventually you will pass. But yeah, just keep going. Don't give up is what I would say. Pretty cliche advice, but that's just how it is. Dealing with patients can definitely be stressful, and this job itself is stressful. It's not the most easiest on your mind, you know, your mental health. But you have to remember, as soon as, you know, your working hours are finished, try not to stress. Try to do stuff that will relax you. For example, for me, when I come home from a, you know, tough day at uni working, I'd probably enjoy playing games with my friends, like online video games and stuff. Or I would do something to relax myself, like if I'm feeling, just pamper yourself, maybe book in a spa or something, just have a relaxed, you know, day out with your friends or whatever. If you don't do it, it will build up to a point where you won't be able to function or operate at your best ability in hospitals or at work. So it's important to relax yourself, take time out, you know, unwind, and yeah, I definitely do that. Otherwise, it will just build up, and it's gonna be really hard for you to operate. Just a normal day will become really difficult. So yeah, definitely relax, take time out. There's a lot of societies in university, and I really like playing basketball and cricket, so there's societies for both of them, and I actually went and you know, had a good time for the days that I wasn't studying, or the days that I had like holidays and stuff like that. So that actually helps you, you know, freshen up, because all the time you're studying, it's good to relax sometimes. Go out with friends as well. We'd go for bowling, or we'd go to play pool. And that was a really good, you know, helps you relax sometimes when, you know, times are stressful. But apart from that, applying for internships is easy as well. It's not that difficult, to be honest. Just apply to the respective department. If you get the email of a hospital, for example, in Birmingham, I remember just emailing a lot of departments, and you will eventually get an email back, and they'll let you know if you can work, if they have any, you know, spaces available. So it's not that hard finding internship. I'd say in Bulgaria, it's just a little bit more harder, because they want you to be fluent in Bulgarian if you're doing like work here, which is understandable and rightly so. But yeah, even in Bulgaria, you can find internship. You can just ask your doctors or professors, and most of the time they refer you to someone that, you know, needs students, or needs yeah, medical students to help them out with stuff. So it's just pretty simple. You just ask around, and you eventually find it. It's not that difficult. When it comes to working while studying medicine, I've had a few friends that have worked, and it's basically work from home, because that's more convenient and easy. For example, working in call centers where they require you to, you know, speak in English, so that's obviously something you can do. But personally, I haven't worked. I didn't feel like the need to. My main focus was education, but yeah, there are students who have worked in like call centers, and yeah, you would find work if you really want to. Any type of work you will find here. But what would really help you if you can speak good Bulgarian, then definitely increases your chances a lot of finding work. I've probably changed both physically and mentally a lot. Physically, I did not look like this at the start of at the start of first year, sorry. Whenever I look at my picture on my Kanishka from first year, I don't recognize myself. It's just, I look completely different. But I would say skills that I've developed over the years, for sure, I've become more patient. I know to, first I was just more, I wanted to get stuff done and like more impatient. So I feel like I've become more patient, become more confident in my abilities. I've become more, I would say, what else? I think I've become more understanding of this profession, that it's not about just studying. It's about actually understanding the patient as a human. So I feel like I've become more understanding of other people, especially patients, which I don't think I was before. So what makes a good doctor, in my opinion, is treating someone the way you would want to be treated, or you would want your family to be treated. And understanding at the end of the day, patients don't want to, be there. They're there because they want to feel better. So as a doctor, I'd say, if you can, explain what they're going through and explain how we can help them and make them feel comfortable and just easy, because a lot of patients I've noticed they're very anxious when they come to doctors. So I'd say just, main thing, if you treat someone the way you want to be treated, I think, you'd go a long way. But I could give you a list on how to be a good doctor, but that is basically the summary. For state exams, the name itself sounds very intimidating, but it's actually just like normal exams that you have in university. We in total have 7 exams. So if I can remember, we have surgery, we have gynecology, we have pediatrics, emergency medicine, epidemiology. I feel like I'm missing one more that I can't remember. But it's subjects you have done before. It's nothing new. You know what's coming up in the exam. You get the syllabus. You have the resources to revise for. And it's one at a time, so it's not like you have to do exams together. It's one at a time. You get enough time to prepare for it, especially because they're repeating and you have done most of them before in your earlier years. I would say that definitely helps. It's just like going over subjects again. So that helps definitely. And state exams themselves, we start around March, or some people start in April, but roughly around this time of the year. And roughly once a month you will have the exam for whatever cycle you have. You get given a timetable, and last exam is in November time. So around the end of the year you'll be pretty much done. So this time next year I'll hopefully be graduated. I'd say studying for state exams is taking one subject at a time, because you do have one cycle at a time, so that it will be easier for you to focus at one subject than multiple at one time. And it's pretty much like all other exams. Resources you will find on the website as well as professors will sometimes email you resources like lectures and seminars. You can look through them as well. It's just then again what works for you, whether reading PowerPoint slides or actually watching videos on stuff. So whatever works for you, whatever has been working for you throughout the 6 years is exactly what's going to work for you now for the state exams. Typical day for me right now is waking up around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, because we have to be at university at 8 a.m. And I live about 20-25 minutes away from university, so it gives me enough time to get ready, maybe have a quick breakfast, which is usually a banana and a glass of milk. And then after that I'd catch the bus to university, and we meet the professor at 8 a.m. and he explains us what we have to do for the day, how many patients we're going to see, and what procedures we will be carrying out today. And I'm doing anesthesiology right now currently, and I finish around, I would say, maximum 2 o'clock I'd finish university. And after that, if I'm feeling like it, I'd either go out with my friends to grab a quick lunch. If not, I'll come home and I'd eat something, maybe take a nap if I'm too tired. And then at evening time, around 6, 7-ish, I tend to start studying and prepare for the next day and learn about what happened the current day. And yeah, talk to my parents, play some video games if I have time. If not, then yeah, around 9, 10, 11-ish, depending how tired I am, I'd probably go to bed and yeah, repeat the next day. To prepare for graduation and what you're going to do after graduation, I think it's best to start preparing early. So for now, we have to do a English language exam before we can register with GMC in UK to start working as a doctor. So I'm currently in process of preparing for that exam. You can either do IELTS or you can do OET, which is Occupational English Test. Either one, but I've personally chosen to do OET because it's a bit easier for me. But either one is fine. And to prepare for graduation, yeah, make sure you have done your internships beforehand. That can boost your CV, help you get a job in UK if that's where you want to go. But yeah, I definitely have started preparing for graduation from now. And then there are a few documents you have to collect from Dean's office in our university, get them translated and everything, and approved. So there's a bit of a procedure, but that's after you graduate and after you get your, there's some paperwork that you can get from university that allows you to start working in UK, even if you haven't got your degree yet, but that's after you pass all the exams. And graduation happens around end of January, early Feb time. So yeah, but you can, if you find a job before that, it's not like you can't work and you have to wait for your degree. You can get documentation from Dean's office and you can work if you've got everything else sorted out. So yeah, these are a few things you should start preparing for as early as you can. State exams, surprisingly, they don't worry me too much because I kind of trust my abilities now to get through exams, and I've done the hardest exams, so I feel like I should be all right, but fingers crossed, hopefully I do good. But what worries me more is not being able to find a job because it's so saturated back home in UK. Everyone's becoming a doctor. There's limited spaces, and they would obviously want to pick the best ones for those spaces. And yeah, that's one thing that kind of worries me. But if I've made it this far, I'm sure I'd be able to, work something out or, hopefully find a job. I've actually thought about how I can improve on this, and that's simple. By gaining more experience, doing more internships. The more you do, the better chance it will give you, especially if you can do an internship under a senior doctor, let's say like a consultant. That will really improve your chances, because I would say that's one of the best things you could do as an internship if you can work with a consultant. This is something I've done, but I would like to do more of it to increase my chances of finding a job. So after graduation, I probably would join FY2, Foundation Year 2, and see if I'm able to handle what it throws at me, basically. If not, you can always do FY1 again in UK just to get more familiar with stuff. But I think I'm pretty confident that if I join FY2, I should be good. And after FY2, you can start your training in whatever specialty you want to do, and you can finally start that journey. For me right now, it's GP, but it might change, so I'm not saying that that's something that I would definitely do. It can change, but for now, that's the plan. Get FY2 done and then start your training. How I ended up deciding that I want to become a GP was a lot of different factors. Because when you're in medicine, you can be confused. There's so many different subjects. If you find something that you want to do straight away, you like it, you want to do, that's perfect. But for me, it was a bit more difficult. I had to, try a lot of subjects, and it wasn't straightforward for me. But then you have to think about a lot of different factors. For example, what lifestyle it brings. For example, if you want to be a surgeon, do know you're going to be on call 24/7. You might not be able to spend as much time with your family. In the middle of the night, they can call you for a surgery. Anything can happen. And that's personally not the lifestyle I wanted. That's why when with GP, I just want to, work 9 to 5, come home, no emergencies, spend time with my wife or with my parents or stuff like this. Yeah, just know, when you're choosing for a specialty, just think outside the box as well. Think what it brings to your life, what difficulties it might bring, and how it can make your life easy as well, because it's not always about the money. Yes, money you need to survive, for sure, but sometimes I know doctors that are making a great amount of money, but mentally they're not, at peace because the work is just too much for them. So I'd say balance is important when you're looking for a specialty. That's something I would recommend. The most I would miss is like my friends, because everyone's gonna go in like different places after graduation. So definitely friends. And this place as well, because you've made so many memories, especially in universities or the places you've been to, like the cities you've been to. And every time I'd walk by, like, let's say a restaurant, it'd take me back to a time where I was there chilling with my friends, and we would have good memories there. So times and places I will remember, as well as people as well. Because you've spent so much time here, you're bound to, remember stuff, and you'll be nostalgic for sure when you leave and you think back about your 6 years in university. For sure, yeah, friends and places we've been to are the most things that I'm gonna miss. Thank you for having me and letting me share my experiences. Hopefully it can help people out there, or people who are considering moving to Bulgaria or studying here. Even if I can help one person, make up their mind, I'd feel really good about myself. I feel like I've kind of returned the favor, not really, but a little bit. Also, thanks for watching as well. I guess if it helps you, then yeah, I'll feel good.